This is my trash can in my house. And this is a perfect HO scale model of my trash can at my house. How did I make these? I used this little guy right here. This is the Creality CR Scan Ferret Pro 3D scanner. Now, full disclosure, Creality did send this to me to check out. No money exchange hands, and they do not get prior viewing or approval of this video before it comes out. Now, this is a wireless 3D scanner that uses various cameras and sensors to create textured 3D models of various objects. You can kind of see where I'm going here. It comes with a Wi-Fi 6 wireless bridge module that allows you to connect it to a phone over Wi-Fi. It can also connect to a computer via USB. This is potentially something that model railroaders have been waiting for. You may be thinking, finally! I can scan one piece of rolling stock or a building and make as many as I want with a 3D printer. Well, we'll talk about that in a bit. I decided to put this thing through its paces and see what it could do for model railroading. First thing I did was do a bunch of research online, and I ultimately determined that I needed a small turntable to test this thing, something like a product turntable. So I picked up a cheap one on Amazon for about 20 bucks US. I immediately tried scanning small pieces of in-scale rolling stock. These would really be the ultimate test for this scanner in terms of detail. Now, it does have a fast scan mode that you'll see me use later, but that doesn't work on the small model mode. So my only choice was high quality, and the results were, well, not great. The bottom line is that I was not able to get an accurate model that I could replicate of the in-scale piece of rolling stock. I couldn't even get close, as a matter of fact. Now, I'm pretty new at this, but I figured I could get something, and I barely had more success with this HO scale 2-bay hopper car, but I still didn't get a usable scan. Okay, so scanning and replicating models of our rolling stock and small scale things is probably out for model railroading. So let's try real life objects and scaling them down for 3D printing. I looked around my house and I then realized that I've modeled trash cans before, but why don't I scan my actual trash can? At first, I did want to try this outside. I figured that the scanner has regular cameras in addition to several other sensors and that a higher light environment would help. And I was partially right, but I also had some issues with infrared light. So then I rolled it into my garage. I first tried to scan it with my phone, and this was going okay. You do have to do this pretty slowly, but I was starting to see the trash can form in the scan. The app guides you through by saying closer or further, or if it loses tracking, and then you just gotta kind of find it again. But the issue with the phone is that scanning an object is that making a mesh just takes a ton of processing. My phone, when I tried to make this mesh, actually got pretty warm, and the model was okay, but was not usable. So I decided to hook it up to my computer. This was a much better result. The scanning went a lot faster, and I was able to get a pretty good mesh object. I did do some post-processing and it really started to take shape. Now, this is where I did do some additional work on the model by putting it into Blender, which is a 3D modeling software that is totally free and pretty powerful. It does have a pretty big learning curve though. There are other options that may be free and simpler to use. I did try to load this into Tinkercad, but the file was 96 megabytes and Tinkercad limits imports to 25 megabytes. I know that this is not ideal, and I'm attributing this to me being a noob at 3D scanning. I did eventually get the model complete though, and I printed it out, and here it is behind a building on MRR2. I was pleasantly surprised when I got through for my first scan. I think it turned out okay. I still have a lot of work to do and I still got a learning to do with scanning, but I can come to some conclusions about using this for model railroading. First of all, if you want to use this like it's a 3D version of the scanner in your print scan combo and just make exact duplicates of scale models that you already own, I don't think that's going to happen. These models are really just too small and too detailed for anything to get picked up on the scanner that you're going to want to be able to use. You really need something like a laser 3D scanner for that level of detail, and well, the most affordable one of those that I could find was in the $15,000 range. So what could you use this for? This scanner is great for taking life-size objects and producing scale models of them. I scanned quite a few different life-size objects and got several good scans, including the camera that I am shooting this on right now. And I will keep getting better at it as I learn more and more. So if you're into 3D printing for your model railroad and want to try scanning some various objects and making scale models of them, this thing may be a good option. I'm not saying you can run out to your local railroad museum and scan a boxcar while you're there, but you can do quite a few things. I can totally see taking this while rail fanning for your model railroad and seeing something small beside the track that you want to model and doing a scan with it. I've got some links in the description below if you want to pick one of these up. It's going to be really great if you want to scale down some life-size things for your model railroad. Replicating scale models that are already down to that size, not so much. But overall, it's pretty cool. Thank you all so much for watching. Until next time, I'm Jimmy from the DIY and Digital. Stay safe, be kind, and happy railroading.